Hello, Angelica Moon and Anna. Please let me know if you're hearing me well. That's Nancy Terrence, and the True Tillich, Laura Kingfisher. Hey, Nancy. Hello, my brother, Tillich. Nice to see you here. I'm good, thank you. So it sounds like everyone is hearing me okay. Beck 3. Let me look at that. Oh, you can't do that. Hi there. Hello, Lisbeth. Hi, Beck 3. Do I know you by another name? Sometimes I can't tell who's who here. Nutty Kazoo. Kazuti. Rudy Kazuti. Oh, yeah, I know Rudy Kazuti. Lord of the Lair. Hi, Catherine. Blue, that's what I thought. I could, you on Instagram, your picture is so small, Blue, that it looked like you, but maybe if I put my glasses on, I can really see. Oh yeah, then I can see better. Thank you for coming, Blue. Hi, Nancy. So I'm just going to tell you as you're all streaming in here. Hi there. I just lined up a guest to join me in 2 weeks on December 19th. It's 2 weeks or maybe 3 weeks. She goes by The Crystal here. She's a painter, and we're going to speak about the... hi there, Nancy. We're going to speak about the creative process, which I'm excited about. I spoke with her this morning, and I realized, we could have a lot of fun talking about that. Thanks, Rudy Kazuti. So yeah, in 3 weeks on December 19th, I'll have a guest. The Crystal will be here, which is lovely. And it'll be fun to speak about the creative process together. But today I wanted to speak about something that we've all heard, but I think it's worth contemplating a little. It's the idea of living in the present, being in the present. Many of us, or at least some of us, are old enough to remember when Ram Dass wrote, I wasn't there for the initial release, but it was still popular when I found it a couple of decades later. His book, Be Here Now. I still have a copy. Be Here Now is just an absolutely lovely book. With lots of sketches inside to illustrate, and the whole thing is handwritten. And it's very profound. It was an incredibly influential book. Be Here Now was the name of it. And it influenced so many people. Just the stunning beauty of the writing in it, I think really transmitted. Hello, Crystal Clear. It really transmitted the essence of awakening. And the message was be here now. Be here in this moment. Be in the now, the only moment that exists. And that message has been reiterated. I mean, that he didn't invent the message, of course. It's been around for a long time, as long as there's been mysticism. Hi, David. And more recently, Eckhart Tolle, of course, relaunched Peace Nick High, relaunched the same message as The Power of Now in his incredibly influential book. Hey there, Crystal Clear and Peace Nick High. So we've all heard these ideas. Be here now, the power of now, live in the present. But as with anything, sometimes familiarity with concepts does not help us understand them to their depth. Hi, Supriya. Nice to see you. And specifically with the idea of living in the present or be here now, it's very challenging for us to hear that without hearing it in terms of, hey, Snow White, nice to see you, without hearing it in terms of living in the present now so that my life will be better later. It's very hard for us not to think about the idea of be here now or the power of now or living in the present without hearing it in terms of a strategy for improving life, for making us more happy. Hi, Chris. How are you? But when we do that, when we are using, say, concentration on the present, being present with the moment, when we're using that as a strategy to improve things, we're not really in the present. Not in terms of our investment. Hey, the Gypsy, and hi, Chris, nice to see you. Our investment is still in the future. You know, we're living in the present, wink, wink, in the hopes that something better will happen later. Hi, I don't really generally take guests, the Gypsy, and to be honest, I'm not exactly sure I know who you are. I can never see the pictures. Do I know you from somewhere else? So if we are living in the present as a strategy, hey Ali, nice to see you. And type Graphy. Oh, Jennifer from the Align Center. Okay, well, I will definitely let Jennifer from the Align Center in. She and I had a conversation recently, and I said, oh, come and be my guest on the stream. So I think that'll be great. Yeah, I'm going to let you in. Let's see how this goes. I've never really done this before. Well, I have once when I had planned for someone. Hey, Sylvia, nice to see you. And look, Aaliyah's here. Sylvia. Okay, I'm going to accept you. Let's see how this works. But you declined. Jennifer, did you want to come in or did you decline by mistake? You are welcome in. Okay, so you don't want to come in, the Gypsy Social. I'm just glad you're here. That's the main thing. So, if you're using living in the present as a strategy for improving things, you're not really living in the present. You're using the present to help, which is different. It's very, very difficult to be in the present without turning it into some kind of strategy that's aimed at the future. But if you can learn that trick, see, now this is why it gets difficult, because now I'm going to say if you can learn that trick, you know, miracles will happen, which is also true. So this is always the trick of spiritual pursuit. Deep practice, deep meditation practice will miraculously affect your life positively. But you can't do it for that reason. It doesn't work. You negate the magic if you use it that way. So even though that depth of practice is radically and dramatically going to affect your life, I mean, really beyond what you can imagine, you can't do it for that reason. Now look, we're all here for that reason. Let's face it. We all come to this practice, we all come to our spiritual life, initially at least, to improve our own lives. That's how the path always starts. There may be rare exceptions to that, but for the vast majority of us, we come to the spiritual path because we recognize that there's something in spiritual pursuit that could make dramatic improvements in our lives. And then we get on the path and we pursue the path. And we experience benefits of the path. And at some point, for most of us, if we hang in there long enough, our motive shifts. And we start to recognize that our spiritual pursuit and our spiritual growth actually has tremendous benefit for other people and ultimately for the world. And so we continue on the path, not so much to improve our own lives, but to be of benefit, value, support to others as they live better lives, and ultimately to changing the world, right? This is what's called in Buddhism the bodhisattva. At some point, your motive changes from personal benefit, which is generally where it starts, to the benefit of others and ultimately the world. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But the irony is that in order to be of the greatest benefit, in order for the real magic to be unleashed, you have to find a way to let go of all of those aspirations. Absolutely, to be a light unto the world, Lake Country Girl. And the place we really can practice that in a very focused way is in our spiritual practice. In my case, and in terms of what I'm teaching, in meditation. So we could think of meditation as the practice of being present. That means being right here and nowhere else. It means bringing all of your attention, all of your awareness to the arising and passing away of this moment. So I want you to take a minute to relax, and I will guide us through a little practice of this type. So sitting comfortably, whatever that means for you, including laying down, if that's best for you. Begin by allowing your body to relax, to become completely still. And still doesn't mean physically rigid. Still doesn't mean stiff. Stiff is still, but it's full of tension. I'm talking about still, like a still lake. Imagine being on a lake and it's so still. There's no wind. There's no sound. But maybe there's leaves fluttering over in the distance. Maybe there's a fly buzzing overhead. But still, in the midst of that activity, your sense is of profound stillness. So the same is true of your body. You might still see small movements happening, thoughts and feelings passing through your mind, just motion. But you're so relaxed about it. You're so okay with whatever might be happening. You feel still. So that's the stillness you want to enter in meditation. It's a living stillness. It's not dead. And maybe you came into the practice, consciously or unconsciously, because you thought the practice would help you in some way, or would help the world. That's okay. That's how you came into the practice. But now that you're here, you simply allow yourself to become mesmerized by the experience of the present. It's a process of falling in love. When you're in love with someone, really in love, and you're with them, you can't take your eyes off them. You can't think about anything else. You're completely mesmerized by that person. So this is the same, except it's being completely in love with the present moment. Just the experience of being alive. The experience of being alive only happens now. All of your thoughts about the future only happen now. All of your memories of the past happen now. As you get more and more absorbed into the experience of the present, more and more of what's here appears. There is a way that we tend to think of our spiritual experiences that is misleading. We think of our spiritual experiences as things that happened to us at whatever moment they happened. We think they weren't there and then they appeared. Hey, Maristella, so lovely to see you. Thank you for being here. We think that our spiritual experiences were not here, and then boom, poof, they appeared, and then poof, they go away. But it's not true. Those experiences that we're having, they always exist. They have always existed. They're always there. What we call a spiritual experience is simply the moment when we turn to look at it. Imagine there's a window to my left, but I'm looking at you, so I don't see it. Then for some reason I turn my head, oh my God, there's a window. And then I turn my head back. Oh, it's gone. And I tend to relate to that as the window appeared in that moment of experience and now it's gone. It's not true. The window's still there. Whatever you experienced in your highest peak moments didn't come when you experienced it and leave when you stopped experiencing it. It was there before and it continues to be there after. Hello, C. Brown. And so hello, Nancy, as you become more and more absorbed into the experience of the present, more and more of what's here begins to appear. Normally, we are just focused on such a thin little slice of what's here in the present moment. But when we relax and we allow ourselves to become focused, our awareness widens. If you're doing this right now, notice how just by relaxing, you start to experience more. Do you feel calm? Do you feel peace? Do you feel energy? I feel a lot of energy right now in my spine and in my head. I also feel a lot of peace, a lot of restfulness. But these are not just experiences that I'm having. This is more of what's here. It's me opening to more of what's already here. This sense of deep peace and this crackling energy in the spine and head, they're always here. Just usually that's not what we're paying attention to. Usually we're paying attention to much grosser levels of reality, and so we miss these subtleties. And as more and more of what's here in the present appears to us, and we feel the richness of the moment, and it's never ending, it keeps expanding and expanding and expanding, we fall in love with the experience of exactly this moment. Eventually, we're not meditating so that something better will happen later. We're meditating because this is amazing. Being alive is amazing. We start to be less interested in our ideas about what's going to happen later because we are so captivated by what's happening now, what's actually happening. I'm actually alive. You start to realize, oh my God, I'm alive. I'm in this body. I'm conscious. How did this happen?
What does this mean? So to truly be in the present moment, we need to become absolutely fascinated with what's happening now, which can include anything. It can include things we don't like, it can include pain and suffering, and often does. It can even include planning for the future and worrying about the past. Those things all arise in the present. But just watching how it all happens becomes so amazing. Just watch. Feel what's here. Notice how, as you relax, your energetic experience shifts. Your consciousness expands. You become aware of more. You start to have powerful insights and realizations. But that only happens if you can be completely relaxed. See, everything depends on relaxing. Spiritual opening, spiritual growth, spiritual unfolding. That's exactly what will happen. That's exactly what is happening. When we're not doing something else. We've got it backwards. We think we need to initiate growth or make growth happen or find growth, find spirit. It's not true. We need to stop doing something else. The only thing that stands in the way of you and the natural unfolding of your essence is being busy with something else. And that something else could be being busy trying to enact your spiritual life. The magic happens when you let go. When you stop being busy with anything and you just relax into the natural innocence and wonder of being alive. I'm not sharing anything with you that hasn't been written about over and over throughout the history of mysticism. But no matter how much it's been shared, it's still subtle and difficult to attain. Why? Why is it difficult to not do anything? That should be the easiest thing in the world. It's difficult because we are so deeply conditioned to be busy. We are so deeply conditioned to believe that things will not work out unless we make them work out. We don't trust that if we let go, good things will happen. Trust, faith, these are truly the kings to the kingdom. Trust in life. That's what's required. Hi, mindful being. So nice to see you. What's required to enter the depths of meditation is trust, deep trust. So as you're sitting, I want you to become aware, and this is subtle, but I want you to become aware of any part of you that remains invested in a future beyond this moment. I want you to imagine the possibility of surrendering so deeply to this moment, to this experience of now, that you don't ever want to return. You just want to be now forever. You just want to be right here. The experience of being alive can become so captivating that there's literally nowhere else you want to be. Just right here. Now, of course, if you're living a life, right here will include times when you're planning for the future. But it's different to plan for the future when you're just completely mesmerized by the process of planning as it arises in the moment. You're not so much looking off into an imagined future, you're just giving yourself completely to the planning process of the moment. It's possible to be completely present while you're planning for the future. It's just most of the time we're not. Most of the time we've got half of our attention on some imagined possibility, and the other half is planning. Our planning works so much better if we're doing it wholeheartedly. Planning is a natural part of life. Hello, Integral Awakenings. Nice to see you. Planning is a natural part of life. It's a natural part of human life. It will happen. Believe me, you won't be able to stop it. It's not just a personal habit of yours. That is a deep cultural habit in our species. It's not going to stop. So when planning is happening, plan completely. And when the planning ends, let it end. Totally. You don't have to initiate the planning. The planning will arise when it's needed. You don't have to stop the planning. The planning will stop when it's needed. You know, what's challenging about living in the present is it requires us to have, to know, to actually know that life is best. Life works out best if we let life live itself. If we give up control. Some people will say, well, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm just going to sit on my couch and do nothing? I love that question. That's my favorite question. This won't work, because if I do what you're telling me, I'll just sit on the couch and I won't do anything. And I say, really? If you give up control, are you going to end up sitting on the couch doing nothing? That's interesting. I usually like to challenge that question. Hi, Keith. I say, I'd like to see you try. Sit on the couch and do nothing. Let's see how long you last. Most people aren't going to last an hour. Because, at some point they're going to, oh, this is crazy. What the hell am I doing just sitting on the couch? And they're going to get up. But even if someone's really stubborn, they're not going to last more than a few hours. I have literally never heard of anyone who let go spiritually and ended up just sitting on the couch forever until they died. It's just not going to happen. Do you know how much effort you would have to make to force yourself to sit that long? That would be harder than almost anything else you could do. You see, but the question itself, the question of, I can't just give up control because then I'll just sit on the couch and do nothing. The source of the question is doubt. Doubt about the fact that life can live itself without me. When they talk about spiritual pride in some traditions, it's not the kind of pride, that you see in movies. There's someone who's like proud as a peacock, thinks they're great, strutting around. That's not the kind of pride that gets in your way. I mean, that's not necessarily good either, but it's not the kind of pride they talk about in terms of spiritual practice. That pride is the pride of, life can't do it without me. I need to control life in order for life to work well. That's the pride. I am so important to the process of living that I can't let go. Hey, Crystal Clear. Oh, off to work. Okay. Thank you for being here. So glad you're here. Hey, Varen. Nice to see you. I'm so important, so essential to the process of life that I can't give up control, which is really hysterical if you think about it. The fact that we think life needs us in order to work out okay is really fascinating. It's really hysterical for a bunch of reasons. One, if we just look at humanity generally, kind of from a bird's eye view, it doesn't necessarily look like us being in control is a great idea. We certainly don't have an incredible proven track record of making life better. Now, in some ways, of course, we have, but it's at best 50-50. And but even more profoundly, perhaps, if we look at life, if we look at how nature unfolds, if we look at the beautiful complexity of this world and all of the amazing life forms. I mean, this is why we watch nature shows. We've been watching nature shows since as long as there's been television. Just because it's amazing, right? Amazing to see how environments fit to species and different species live together all in this kind of harmonious union that makes the resultant greater than the sum of the parts. You look at your own body, how it takes in oxygen, turns it into energy. You look at how sunlight gets absorbed by plants that then we can eat. And so the energy from the sun ends up in our bodies through the food we eat. I mean, it's like, wow, you couldn't make this stuff up. Never mind actually create it. You don't have to look too deep into nature to realize that whatever source of intelligence created this amazing world is far beyond us. Far beyond my intelligence. Yet I still think that I'm essential, that I need to be controlling life. It's like, you did great. with the creation of the world and the manifestation of life and consciousness. I mean, these were awesome, nice job. But, with my life, I think I need to control things. I don't think you can do it without me. It takes so much courage to let go and allow life to live itself. But that's why we can practice. Thank you, Peace Nick. That's why we can practice in meditation. When you're sitting in meditation and there's really nothing at stake, because you're going to sit silently and quietly for 20 minutes. And your only instruction is to let go. Just let everything be as it is. Give up control, no matter what happens. And then you try to do it. And then you say, oh my God, I keep not giving up control. I keep trying to control things. I keep trying to control this meditation. I keep trying to steer it in certain directions and steer it away from other directions. Even now, when there's really nothing at stake, because literally nothing's going to happen. Literally, you're just going to sit there for 10 minutes or 20 minutes. Even then, we find it almost impossible to let go and to relax. So, oh my God, in life, hey Blaine, I can see that you're on now. I didn't see you before now. Glad you're here. But only when we let go to that degree, only when we stop trying to control, only when we stop trying to steer the process, only when, as I was saying earlier, all we want is to be here now with exactly what is. Only then is our relaxation so deep that our being starts to open. Oh, you're welcome, Blaine. Nice to see you. Only then do we start to experience the expansion of self, so that more and more of what's already here starts to become apparent to us. My experience of meditation is that it's a twofold process. The first part of meditation is a kind of drawing in, a withdrawal from the world. It's a kind of cocooning into silence. And that doesn't end, that stays. So there's a certain kind of cocooning into silence that occurs. We're very still and safe. And then we get more and more relaxed. And as we get more and more relaxed, the cocoon remains, but we start to expand beyond it, back out. But what we're expanding into is a different dimension of reality altogether. We've withdrawn from one dimension of reality, one possibility. And when we expand through the cocoon stays holding us safe. But when we expand through the cocoon, we are expanding into a different dimension of reality altogether. We start seeing things that were impossible to see before. Experiencing things beyond our imagination. We enter into a new world of being. We begin to recognize greater capacities for perception, for creation, for manifestation. But we do have to withdraw completely from all of our ideas about the world and its future in order to become completely absorbed in the present. And then in that cocooning in the present moment, we then expand past it into a new world. So that is everything that I wanted to share with you today. Such beautiful people. Thank you so much for being here. If you've been meditating during this time, allow yourself to gently return from the process of meditation. Thank you, Nancy and Lake Country Girl and Angelica Moon and Chris. So happy you're all here. Love seeing you every week. And again, I will be here next week. And on December 19th, I will have a guest with me to speak about, thank you, Laura, to speak about, well, the creative moment, the process of creation, artistic creation, and how it occurs in the present moment. So that will be fun. And in the meantime, every week at noon, I will be here. Thank you, Maria, to share with you and to be with you and to enjoy you. So thank you so much for being with me. Bye, Bonita. I'll see you all soon. Bye. Thank you very much. You're so welcome. So welcome.